people showing up and doing all the work.
The president is also focused on the Supreme Court today, where justices heard arguments on his sweeping use of tariffs. At issue is whether the president can legally impose those tariffs based on a law originally written for national emergencies. The president has described his tariffs as a centerpiece of his economic and foreign policy agenda. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Washington.
Well, starting Friday, up to 4,000 flights could be canceled nationwide. The FAA is planning to reduce flights in 40 high-volume markets to address fatigue among air traffic controllers. They're considered essential workers, and they're having to currently work without pay during the shutdown.
I anticipate there will be additional disruptions. There will be frustration. We are working with the airlines. They're going to work with passengers. But in the end, our sole role is to make sure that we keep this airspace as safe as possible.
Those airports impacted by the order will be announced tomorrow.
Federal investigators say the left wing of a U.S. cargo plane caught fire and its engine fell just before it crashed in a fireball after taking off in Kentucky. That crash and fire yesterday destroyed the plane and spread to nearby businesses in Louisville. That disaster killed at least 12 people, including a child, and others are still missing. 3 people were aboard when that plane crashed. It had been heading for Honolulu, so it was loaded with fuel as it left the UPS World Port at Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport. That video shows the flames on the plane's left wing and then a trail of smoke.
After being cleared for takeoff, a large plume of fire in the area of the left wing occurred during the takeoff roll. The plane lifted off and gained enough altitude to clear the fence at the end of runway 17R. Shortly after clearing that fence, it made impact with structures and the terrain off of the airport property.
Investigators say that the plane's black box has been recovered.
Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin is talking about possibly resuming nuclear testing. Now, this is a direct response to President Trump's orders for the U.S. to start testing for the first time in more than 30 years. In a televised meeting, Putin said that he warned the U.S. and other countries that this would happen if they did their own nuclear testing. The U.S., by the way, hasn't conducted a nuclear test since going back to 1992. China and France last did so in 1996, and the Soviet Union did in 1990.
The judge in the case of former FBI Director James Comey scolded prosecutors for failing to turn over crucial evidence. A grand jury indicted Comey on charges of lying during his congressional testimony in 2020. That indictment was brought by a prosecutor handpicked by President Trump. Comey's lawyers say they have not been able to review the evidence in this case, so the judge ordered the prosecutors to provide those materials by of day tomorrow.
Well, the man sentenced to life in prison for the murder of 4 Idaho college students is now fighting to not pay for the urns of 2 of his victims. As part of Brian Kohlberger's plea deal for the 2023 murders, he had to pay nearly $20 in restitution to the victims' families. That was also meant to cover funeral expenses. 2 families have requested an additional $3,000 for the urns, let alone the full restitution. But during a hearing today, Kohlberger's attorney said that he didn't have the money. The judge appeared skeptical, pointing out money Kohlberger received from not only his family, but even the public. No ruling yet from the judge.
Tesla shareholders will soon decide on whether Elon Musk could have a shot at becoming the world's first trillionaire. In an annual meeting at Tesla's headquarters in Texas tomorrow, they will vote on a pay package that could hand the world's richest man stock options with a potential value of up to $1 trillion. He'd have to meet a series of ambitious goals, including massive growth for Tesla. The decision has become a flashpoint among his fans and detractors, with even the Pope recently weighing in. Supporters say Musk is a miracle man who needs this kind of money as a lure to focus on his company. Critics say the board that designed this package is too beholden to Musk and the pay is excessive.
Well, the average first-time home buyer age is now 40. That's the oldest it has ever been. The National Association of Realtors says that the number of first-time buyers in the market is at an all-time low. The group says that these numbers show the difficulty of getting into the housing market.
A local nonprofit serving hundreds of families in Sacramento.
Just ahead, we are going to introduce you to the Greenhouse Community Center and how they say they're in it for the long run.